Hi guys, Yuki here, back with Seduce Me 2, the Demon War, part 12, alternate routes. We're moving on to Sam. It's been a while, actually, like probably a week or two. I'm really trying to, I guess, upload more, but I don't. My brother's actually getting married tomorrow, so there's that going on. Or maybe it'll be the Friday when this posts. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm just trying to get this out now that I have like a little bit more of a chance to get things done and all that stuff. So we're gonna start with the good end with Sam, since we didn't do this one. So yeah, let's go. To return to the human world. My heart belonged there. I was human after all. I knew that the demon world was important to Sam and Diana, but I would have never been truly happy here. I missed the blue sky, and the sweet air of home called me back. The curse on me had been lifted. We fought the war to return home. That was what we had to do. Sam smiled slightly and nodded. The Incubi and the wife smiled as well, but the rebel leaders lowered their heads and looked at each other in concern. I quickly turned to them, not wanting to leave them without a plan. Work together to rebuild this world. Diana would have wanted that from all of you. A lump in my throat almost blocked me from finishing that sentence. It was deeply painful to refer to Diana as dead, as she gave her life for me. But the world needed a leader, and it had four. The four rebel leaders looked to each other and nodded.
We will do our best. Thank you for trusting the world with us.
What are we gonna do first? We could do all kinds of really amazing things, like rebuild the forests. No, wait, have a party. Wait, no.
Faye, quiet.
Oh, lighten up. The war is over. We have a reason to celebrate.
I smiled, happy to know that the world was in good hands. However, Faye took a breath and looked to me with a small smile before forming a small lavender-colored lily in her hands.
Before you go, though, since Diana is, well, she wanted to give you this.
Aww. I stared at the flower in surprise. What was it? I reached out and took it in my hands, practically feeling magic and energy run through it. It's lovely.
A flower of Lilith? But how can that be?
They were said to have died out generations ago.
I continued to stare at the flower, entranced by its spell. It was such a gorgeous-looking flower, but I could barely tear my eyes away.
Put it behind your ear. I think she said it was magical or something.
I tilted my head before nodding, lifting it to tug it behind my ear. As it settled against my ear, I felt mist circle my head and form into a flower crown of lavender lilies. The way everyone looked at me made me feel like I was in my bridal wear already.
Whoa.
Amazing!
I looked at Sam, seeing him grin from ear to ear at the sight of me. I blushed, feeling somehow timid with the flower crown on my head, but happy to know that it had rendered my husband speechless. However, as I lifted my hand to the flowers, feeling their soft petals, I could feel the world fade to a white color. Huh? From the direction of where Diana had fallen, a figure stepped towards me, bathed in light. I covered my eyes with my arm for a moment before seeing who it was. Diana? With a smile, Diana stepped in front of me and gently ran her hand along the crown over the petals of the flowers. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, unbelieving that I was seeing her.
I expected you to choose the human world. Really, dear. So predictable.
Diana. Diana chuckled, stopping me from whatever I was planning on saying before cupping my chin to make me gaze into her eyes.
Well then, promise me that you will take care of the brute. He needs a strong woman guiding him, and you've been blessed by the flowers of Lilith, so it seems you're up to the task.
I felt tears form and drip down my cheeks, but I nodded. Something in my heart lifted and I felt at ease with everything. I had made the right choice. With a smile, Diana tilted forward and kissed my forehead beneath the crown before stepping away.
May you be happy with your choice, dear. And thank you.
Diana slowly turned and began to walk away further into the light of the area. Sarah, who was also bathed in light, slowly appeared and waited for Diana with an arm out for her. Diana took his hand and smiled up at him before looking back to me, nodding and walking away. As they both vanished into the light, the world around me reappeared, with everyone staring at me in shock.
Whoa, hey. Are you alright?
What? Huh? I quickly looked at Sam before lifting my hand to wipe my cheek, feeling the trails of broke tears left behind over my skin. I wiped my eyes and cheeks before nodding, laughing softly. I'm fine. Sorry. I smiled brightly, taking a breath, and looked up at Sam while taking his hands. Let's go home. Home.
Well, you did it! Congratulations! You've made it to the end of your story. I have to say, I am very surprised at how it turned out. Nevertheless, I'm glad things worked out in the end, whether it was for the better or otherwise. You and Sam deserve to be happy. I mean, you both went through a dragon's trial to be together. A dragon's trial! Those are tough. Still, it all worked out, right? You defeated the Demon Lord and got to return home to the human world. Anyways, you've been through a lot, so why don't we skip to... Huh? You want to know what happened after the war? Well, I mean, I guess I could tell you. After the war was finished, the entire rebellion celebrated. Word spread far and wide about the rebellion's success, and soon every kingdom in the abyssal plains had become united with the new authority. You would think demons would be more hostile towards each other, being demons and all, but the threat of the Demon Lord was what brought the entire world together. Since Diana and Sarah fell to their... demise, and you decided to return to the human world with Sam, the rebel leaders took up the mantle together and vowed to bring peace and prosperity to the demon world. While it was a tough time for them, as a majority of the world still mourned the loss of the rebel queen, they managed to bring the world together and bring a steady peace to the demons within it. They worked diligently to this day, trying to bring equality to the entire world and create a world their queen would have been proud of. And I believe that is everything that happened after, well, except for your story anyway. Sam and you returned home and prepared to get married at last. No distractions, no kidnappings. Huh? How do I know? Well, I have my ways. Maybe you should check it out.
By the time I returned to the human world, I had regained all of my pre-wedding jitters. My mind began to furiously worry about the wedding again all the way until it came to walk down the aisle. After that, it was surprisingly smooth sailing. I would forever remember the moment of bells chimed and the taste of Sam's lips on mine as we were pronounced wife and husband. The ceremony erupted in cheers, and the reception carried that energy into the night. I could go on and on about the wedding and the honeymoon, but honestly, after the war I was more concerned of living my life afterwards. Our lives escalated to new heights after we officially became husband and wife. Sam began to climb the ladder of the public service chain and eventually became chief of police. Everyone at work respected him, even the criminals that came in after being arrested. As for me, I began to grow through my own success in life, dedicating myself to becoming exactly what I wanted to be. After all, my husband has a cop and who was secretly a demon. If I put the same amount of work in as I did in the demon world, I was going to be okay. However, there was never a day that went by that I didn't think that what was happening in the abyssal plains. It was a heavy chapter in my life, one that tested the love between Sam and me. To think that I was married to the Lord of the Dragons. Apparently it was a very powerful title to own, and I happened to be in love with the man who carried it. A title like that, I was sure, carried a large amount of responsibility. Still, I was confident that we would get through it and stay together no matter what came our way. Demon, devil, dragon, it didn't matter to us. We were unstoppable together. The faint memory of my own power slightly tingled through me every time I grew confident, eagerly reminding me that I had strength of my own. I would never let anyone come between me and Sam ever again. Standing over the stove, I took a moment to let my mind wander as the breakfast I was preparing slowly cooked. Sam was still passed out in bed, tired from working the day before, so I let him sleep peacefully. It was adorable remembering his sleeping face, the goofy grin, hair rustled with wild expression surprisingly peaceful. I could only chuckle as they began to plate our food and arrange the breakfast tray to carry it all. The plates weren't a problem, but the glasses and jug of orange juice made it a challenge. I, however, was confident enough in my skills to carry the breakfast to our room to surprise Sam. Everything smells great. Let's hope it tastes good too. I slowly made my way to my bedroom, climbing the stairs one step at a time. While it was usually true that you lose balance the slower you go when carrying something, I didn't want to just bolt up the stairs in hope of getting everything there in one piece. As I finally arrived, I quietly slipped into the room and at the sight of the still sleeping Sam. I smiled and let out a silent sigh of relief before walking in and placing the tray of food on the nearby nightstand. The sight of Diana's lily caught my attention. It was in a beautiful vase Sam and I custom ordered, decorating the nightstand perfectly. Because of the magical nature, it was still alive and looked as freshly bloomed as the day I received it. Despite it being a bittersweet day, Sam and I cherished the lily and cared for it a lot. It was a physical memory of an important chapter in my life, and I felt blessed to have it still. I let out another sigh before walking around the bed and sitting in the spot I usually slept in before gently nudging Sam. Sam, it's almost 10 a.m., come on. When Sam didn't move, I simply chuckled. He was indeed a deep sleeper. I gently leaned in and kissed Sam's cheek, hoping to break the spell of sleep on him with true love's kiss. It's time to get up, Sam.
5 more minutes.
I could only laugh before crawling further onto the bed and sitting beside him. While breakfast was waiting, Sam deserved to sleep a little longer. He had been working hard ever since his promotion, so it was no surprise to see him struggle to get up. I ruffled Sam's hair a bit, making him groan, and pushed my hand off tiredly. But that only spurred me to laugh harder. As I did, Sam finally opened an eye and stared up at me, an exhausted haze evident on his gaze. I covered my mouth and giggled, a little apologetic for waking him up with my laughter. Sorry, I'll be quiet. Sam shook his head and yawned, stretching his arms up and shutting his eyes, before opening them again and lazily looking up at me from his pillow.
Morning, doofus.
Morning, Sam. I made breakfast. Sam sniffed the air and turned his head to look at the tray before nodding and returning to his lazy pose on the bed.
Smells good. Bet it tastes even better.
I would hope so. Sam gave me a toothy grin before gently pulling me down to lie beside him. Well, Sam! I was silenced by Sam nuzzling my shoulder and pulling me close to cuddle against my body. My face began to heat as I felt his warmth around me.
We'll eat in a bit. I want to stay here for a while.
I took the moment before nodding and wrapping my arms around him, nuzzling his chest. Sam smiled and kissed my head, relaxing into the embrace. He felt perfect in my arms, and nothing could have been better than being held by him. It was like lying in paradise. Did you sleep okay?
Mm-hmm. You?
Mm-hmm. Our words became simple, but our embrace only intensified our love for each other. The bed became like a cloud, and the room almost lost shape in my eyes as all I could focus on was Sam.
I love you. You know that, right?
I love you too.
I mean it. I love you and care about you so much.
I looked up at Sam and seeing this love he spoke of burn brightly in his eyes as he locked his gaze with mine. I felt my heart beat wildly and my heart chest before leaning up and nuzzling my forehead to his with a peaceful and happy smile. And I you, Sam, more than anyone will ever know. There was nothing more that needed to be said. Our feelings were simple but powerful enough to move continents. Our love may have seemed plain at a glance, but within our hearts burned the flames of our devotion and passion for one another. I couldn't stop my smile from growing before leaning in and kissing Sam lovingly, feeling him kiss back with the same amount of love and passion I had. No matter what, we would always find each other. We would always wind up back in each other's arms, and we would fly through every obstacle on our way on the wings of our love. And that was my perfectly happily ever after. Just you and me, and that was really sweet. Now to go break my heart, and everybody else's. Let me just pause it here, and we shall get back to this soon. I'm back. Alright. I think everything's okay, but I'll double check really quick. I know I should always do this when I'm not recording, but I don't learn my lesson. Okay, that's good. Do this one. Okay, everything's good. It was true we hadn't had sex, even when he confessed his feelings for me. It was a matter of it wasn't a matter of lack of passion or lack of desire, but I wasn't up for having sex. Okay. There were more ways to show our love than just the mattress mambo. Nice one.
She was just teasing. It's alright. No need to be embarrassed.
But it's true.
Wait, so you still have your cherry? Jeez! And what about you, Miss Nosy? Ha! I popped my cherry before we graduated.
Okay.
Then you're the only one in the trio who's not a virgin. You too, Naomi? Come on.
Awkward. I couldn't help but laugh a bit. We were very comfortable with each other, but first it was crayons in kindergarten, then TV shows in grade school, then boys in high school, and now sex. Nice. We were very in the very tight-knit triple threat trio. Tongue twister.
But hey, we gotta let you go, okay? We haven't eaten and it's almost 9 p.m.
Jeez, go get some food. We can chat tomorrow or something.
You got it, Chica. We'll call you whenever we're free, even if it's not tomorrow. For now, food! Alright, we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, call you guys soon. We hung up simultaneously and looked down at my phone with a smile. It was good to hear from them at last. However, as I made my way back towards the dining room, I stopped.
I want to do it.
You cannot be serious.
I quickly hugged them. We already know this. Avoid it. I shook my head. This was a private matter. I did, and I will discuss this with Sam on my own. The other boys nodded, understanding my stand on the subject. I needed to figure this out with Sam, not with them. I sighed and looked at the boys, seeing them starting to clean the table and clear the papers off. I had to assume that the planning was done for the night. I guess we'll discuss more another time?
It'll have to wait until the weekend. Much is happening this week, so I won't be available.
Same here. I have to train a couple of interns so they know how to properly fit customers with a suit.
This weekend is perfectly fine, right?
Yeah, that sounds good. I helped pile the papers in a proper stack on the table, making them ready for the next time they were to be viewed. Before I escorted the boys out, Sam remained wherever he was and didn't see his brothers off. After I closed the door, however, Sam appeared at the balcony above the lobby and began to descend the staircase.
Are they gone?
Yeah, they'll be back this weekend. Sam sighed and ran his hand through his hair, letting his shoulders slouch forward.
This is ridiculous.
Is wedding prep really this complicated?
I could only nod before walking over and meeting him as he reached the bottom step. As he stepped off of it, I wrapped my arms around him and nuzzled his forehead, making him look into my eyes. It'll be worth it in the end when we are married. Sam smiled and wrapped his arms around my waist, nuzzling my forehead. I felt the deep love in his embrace, wanting to protect me from the world and all the dangers within it. He had protected me so many times with those arms that were wrapped around me.
If I get to be with you forever, then I guess it's worth the work, you doofus.
As long as you'll have me, I'll be with you forever. With a loving gaze, Sam lifted a hand from my waist and cut my cheek, and I nuzzled into the warmth of his palm and let out a loving sigh.
Hey, can we go somewhere tomorrow?
Huh? Sure, I guess. Where did you want to go? Thoughts of him going to the black market crossed my mind, making me slightly worried as to where he wanted to go. Sam, however, looked at his feet.
Well, we already asked your folks and stuff about me marrying you, but there's one person I have to ask permission from.
Who?
Your grandfather.
I was shocked. He wanted to go to my grandfather's grave? Damien had explained that it had been my grandfather who had brought them over from the demon world, but I was still getting used to the idea. Sam continued to explain as I wrapped my head around the question.
I know I sound a little dumb, but he was kind of important to me and my brothers. He's the one who brought us here after all. It's only respectful if, I guess, I kinda ask for his blessing. I mean, it's dumb and we don't have to, but...
No, we can. Definitely. Tomorrow around noon then? Sam stared in shock before he nodded with a smile. And skip. What? No? I shook my head no. I wouldn't let Sam approach me about it on his own time. I didn't want to press the issue if it was something Sam needed to sort out. I watched Sam as he looked through the list of guests we were expecting to have. I smiled at the sight. He had learned how to read in only 2 years, and now he was almost as proficient in his reading as his eldest brother. Well, that's nice. I didn't want to break his concentration, so I continued to run through the party list of flowers and arrangements. We had to do so much in a small amount of time. We worked the entire afternoon trying to arrange as much as we could before the passing of time hit us like a wave. Dinner was extremely easy, but our focus was solely on the work at hand. The more work we could accomplish, the less stress we'd have to worry about later. Looking at Sam, I could tell he was exhausted. He had his head in his hands, trying to stay awake as he read over his notes and paperwork, I'm sure for the 5th or 6th time. I was fairly certain he was tired of reading. He always worked so hard and never failed to try and make everything we did the best moment of our lives. He deserved so much, and yet he fell in love with me, a simple human. I had no way to repay him except for loving him back and giving him everything I could. Though, there was one thing. My mind traveled to a small bachelorette gift Suzu and Naomi had sent me when they first heard the news. It was lingerie to be used during our honeymoon, so it was just simply sitting folded up neatly in a box under the bed. I looked at Sam again, my libido, my libido giving me the idea of possibly surprising him and making it his night. Don't matter. Don't. I shook my head. I didn't need to seduce him tonight. We had all the time in the world to make love, and even if we never did, we still could find ways to show our love for each other. I would always be able to show him my love and be able to prove it every day of my life for as long as he'd have me. Sam looked up and let out a tired yawn.
Okay. That's enough work. Wanna hit the hay?
Yeah, sounds good. We cleaned up our paperwork as well as the dinner we had eaten as we worked, and headed back upstairs. We were so wiped out by the time we hit the pillows that we didn't even care we were still wearing our casual clothes. Sleep was just begging for us to escape into its dark embrace.
You think you can stop me, boy? I will kill you, old man! I want to see you try. You don't even have the strength to save your precious human!
Yeah, I don't really know how we're gonna die, but we're gonna die in this one too. And also probably Sam's gonna die too. What? Ooh, I got stabbed through the heart. I could barely make out Sam arcing back to scream at the sky, large flame-like wings erupting from his back. However, I felt my body give into the pain and my vision turned black.
No. This can't be happening. No!
I really was dying. His hands quaked in disbelief as he ran one along my cheek and used the other to hold my shoulders. I stared up at him, gasping for air as blood seeped over my skin. I was dying. I felt it. I knew it. Sam wept but continued to stare down at me, trying to keep me awake and alive with his touch. For I felt that I wasn't going to last much longer. I winced at the pain and reached an arm up to Sam, touching his cheek. Sam shook his head violently, not wanting me to use energy to speak. I grimaced at the pain, but Sam continued to cry. My heart whimpered at the sight of his tears falling down his cheeks.
Please, no. I love you. Please stay with me. No.
I wanted to wake up, but I didn't want to have the strength to fight this illusion. I became lost in the pain that was pinning my body down and draining me of my life.
I can't lose you! Please! Please. I love you.
My chest wouldn't allow me to breathe anymore. All I could do was exhale my last breath and close my eyes. As I had to scream, I finally awoke, sitting up in bed and finally being able to fully breathe again. I panted, feeling the need for fresh air to circulate through my lungs and chest. I ran my hand over my chest, feeling no marks and knowing that I was indeed alive and awake. But what of Sam? He was still sound asleep, lost in his dreams, which seemed to be peaceful just from the look on his face. I let out a quiet sigh, closing my eyes and looking to the ceiling. It was just a dream. Nothing more. It was merely a nightmare. I experienced them all the time. The more I thought of it, the more I could sense the fantasy of it. I was okay. We were okay. I ran a hand through my hair before lying back down, knowing that I would find solace in Sam's arms. As if by instinct, Sam wrapped both of his strong arms around my form and I cuddled against his chest. We were fine. We were going to be fine. Woo. Fast forward.
Good. A good rest.
I decided to go back. Heading back to my absolute safest option, I didn't want to risk getting lost. I spun on my heel and walked back towards my room. When I arrived, I sat on the edge of my bed, now wondering what to do. I sat and fell back onto my bed, unsure of how to pass the time. Whee!
Careful! They could be the Demon Lord's men!
I stood as the one I was meant to marry, seeing him slowly shake his head and rise from the ground.
Whoa! I got
Love! Whoa!
I watched as the boys and the girls finally planted themselves on the ground before looking around. As Sam spotted me, however, his eyes widened with surprise and anger. His gaze pinned itself to Diana, who was still looked protectively in front of me, and his eyes instantly became painted over in an almost harsh gold color.
You're fucking dead!
Within a blink, Sam and Diana vanished and reappeared against the wall behind me. As I turned to see what was happening, I gasped at the sight. Sam was pinning Diana to the stone wall, crushing her neck and holding her high enough so that her feet were dangling above the floor.
I warned you, bitch! I will tear you to shreds!
Sam! Before I could move closer, however, the guard jabbed the end of his spear into one of Sam's knees, causing Sam to release Diana and buckle onto his knees.
You mangy dog!
The guard quickly twirled his spear around to thrust it forward to skewer Sam, but missed as Sam fell back and laid himself across the ground, glaring up at his attacker. Filled with an absolute terrifying rage, the guard stepped forward and went for another stab at Sam. Fortunately, Sam pushed the weapon away from him and directly to the side, causing the blade to clang against the ground. The guard quickly pulled back and thrust the spear forward again, but hit the floor again as Sam turned his body to the side. However, the guard wouldn't let Sam get up as he quickly continued to pull back and thrust the spear forward as Sam over and over, practically trapping him against the ground. I wanted to step in, but I was too afraid of the blinding speed at which the guard was jamming a spear at Sam. I didn't want to provoke him to stab me in a blind adrenaline rush. Everyone else backed away. Fighting. More fighting. More fighting. More fighting. Don't get involved? I didn't want to get involved. Sam and the guard seemed very determined to beat each other. Who knew what would happen if someone stepped in? I held my breath, watching as Sam continued to duck and dodge the barrage of spear thrusts that guard threw at him.
Get out of my way!
Sam finally lunged forward, dodging the guard's spear before slamming his fist into the guard's chest and knocking him back.
Ah! Pesky mongrel!
The guard retaliated by swinging his spear around and swiping at Sam, making him jump back.
Enough!
Before the guard could follow through with another attack, a large snap echoed through the air, forcing everyone in the room, including me and Sam, to look over and see Diana glaring at her guard. Diana slowly stood up straight and pointed to the space beside her, ushering the guard to quickly run to it and turn back to face the rest of us. I used the opportunity to step in between Sam and Diana. Sam looked to me with eyes full of bloodlust, begging me silently to continue the fight. I glared back, trying to break through his rage to get him to calm down. He relented and gritted his teeth before nodding and looking to Diana and her guard.
I'll forgive you for now, brute.
Forgive me? What makes you think that the one who needs forgiving is me?
I didn't do anything!
Then why is she here then? Sam!
Sam and I turned to look at James, who was incredibly furious by the look of the others. The others were as well.
Look at her! Does she look like she's been harmed or in chains?
Sam looked to me as I met his gaze in an almost perfect sync. I was indeed fine. Diana didn't hurt me. In fact, it had been the opposite. She wanted to protect me and send me home. The look in Sam's eyes, however, melted into one of longing and relief when he finally absorbed my appearance. It was like watching a beast instantly calm down at the sight of its master. Without giving me a moment to breathe, he rushed over and wrapped me in his arms, burying his face on my shoulder. Sam!
I'm so happy you're safe.
My heart melted as I heard him whisper in my ear. I gripped him tightly, returning the close embrace and thankful that I could feel the one I loved once again in my arms. Sam tightened his grip on me, nuzzling into my shoulder. It's okay. Everything was okay now. Sam nodded in understanding and replied to my words. At last, Sam and I slowly broke away from each other. Sam looked over at Diana with a softer expression, but nonetheless a serious one.
Why is she here?
Ask your father.
What did you say?
Your father brought her here and placed a curse on her. She can't leave this world until she dies, or...
I'm gonna kill that old fuck!
You got a plan to kill him?
Yes, we plan to kill him in 1 week's time.
1 week?!
Where is this number coming from, Succubus?
Wait. That's not fair, Diana. It wasn't fair at all. I was stuck here, so it should be my choice of whether or not to fight.
I'm only trying to make sure you all get back to the human world safely. I can't expect you all to fight in this war.
Let me and my brothers train then. We're demons, for fuck's sake. We know how to fight.
You all realize this is a war, correct? You can die here.
We understand completely.
We understand too.
Very well. I can't exactly keep you here like prisoners, so it will be up to you if you choose to train for battle. However, I highly suggest just staying here and allowing us to handle it. Lumen infere, bellum tabescere, serene.
Ooh.
You look good.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to head for the Demon Lord's castle.
Do you plan to shadow?
No. Faye, set up.
Yes, my lady.
Oh,
Thank you.
I felt Sam gently squeeze my hand, causing me to look over at him. Was he feeling my anxiousness somehow?
Hey, you sure you're alright?
I stared at him a bit longer before replying. Yes. I wasn't alright. All of this was a muddled mess, and I couldn't help but worry. Had been obvious anyway for Sam to notice and ask. Still, I didn't want him to know, especially if these worries were going to fade away eventually. I smiled at him and hugged his arm to me, making Sam gasp before smiling a bit and pulling me to him.
Alright. Whatever you say. I'm glad you're safe.
I'm glad you came. Sam and I were guided through the hallways until we finally reached our room, which happened to be the ambassador room I had slept. Well, yeah, we know that.
Fancy room?
Yeah, apparently it's an open ambassador's room. They let me sleep here when I came.
That was how long ago?
Like a day?
Oh fuck. I forgot the time difference between this world and the human world. Time goes slower here and stuff. So, like, while you've been here a day, you've only been gone from the human world for 4 or 5 hours. At least we found you. If it weren't for Damien and Twilight, it would have taken us longer.
I didn't know what to say. I just wanted to be awake a little longer. I looked up at him and he turned his head, looked down at me, patiently waiting for me to ask whatever he assumed I was going to ask. Sorry, it's nothing. I shook my head and nuzzled him, looking back to the floor. I didn't know what to say in pure honesty. Sam seemed to understand and hugged me gently.
I'm glad you're safe.
I'm glad you're here. I closed my eyes and listening to him breathe as I let out a silent sigh. As we pulled away at last, Sam let a smug grin paint his face.
Well, I guess one good thing came out of this. I get to kick my old man's ass.
I knew Sam hated his father, but was it really a good thing? In retrospect, yes. Morally, it was questionable. You really hate him, don't you? The smile on Sam's face slowly diminished to an angry expression, his eyes full of rage but his mouth pressed into a fine line.
Yeah, I do.
Sam slowly stood back up and walked towards the fireplace, staring into it with his hands clenched into fists at his sides.
That bastard made me and my brothers miserable for years. We finally escaped, and then he grows the balls to try to steal the woman I love away from me.
Sam...
That bastard kills for fun. He burns kingdoms to the ground for not submitting to him, and murders hundreds just because he can. He has a fucking harem of people and replaces every one of them with prisoners of war by the handful. If he had gotten his hands on you, if he even touched you, I would've...
His fist tightened at his sides. I stared wide-eyed as blood, little by little, began to drip through the crevices of his fingers. I stood and brushed over, laying myself across his back, pressing my forehead into the back of his neck. Sam, it's okay.
Is it?
I looked up at Sam and turned around to face me. He didn't touch me, but his hands were still wounded from his tight fist, but his expression dimmed a bit to a look of sadness.
I would have never forgiven myself if you fell into his hands.
I stared deep into Sam's gaze, seeing the fear behind them. I was scared as well, but thankful to be saved by Sayro and Diana. Someone above was watching over me carefully, and I thank God for that. I wrapped my arms around Sam's neck and leaned my head to his, pressing my forehead to his own. I'm safe now. Diana and Sayro saved me from that.
Thank God for that.
Sam wrapped his arms around me, fists still closed, and pulled me to him tightly. I could see him biting his lip, almost piercing the skin, but maintaining some form of control. I frowned, but allowed silence to pass between us. We'll defeat the Demon Lord and go home soon. Sam nodded against my forehead, remaining quiet. We had to let this pass. We had to move on and mentally prepare ourselves for a war. Sam would get his anger quelled, and we would be able to return home at last. We had to. Sam and I eventually pulled away from each other, locking our gazes lovingly.
Come on. We can't stay up all night.
I know. Sam lifted his hand, which was now free of wounds and blood, and guided me to bed, crawling in after I settled in between the sheets. Sam and I embraced lovingly and let the darkness of the night take over, bringing us to a quiet slumber. The dark of sleep was usually a friend of mine, only showing me nightmares on the rarest of occasions. The nightmare of me dying sent shivers down my body as I recalled it, but I knew that it was only a dream. Would I have one like that again? I hope not. Would I have a choice in the matter if another came? That was another story. I opened my eyes to find myself in the mouth of a cave that descended beneath the earth. Behind and above me was a bright light where I could see my friends and family. However, as I looked down into the darkness, I caught the sight of Sam walking away further into the cave. Sam? He didn't answer. Sam continued forward, losing himself in the dark, and I instantly began to follow, forgetting about the light for a moment before stopping and looking back. My family had a look of despair while my friends held each other, watching me with heartbroken faces. Was this some sort of message? Was I following Sam into a place my friends and family could not be in? Was this my future? I became torn. What was I going to do?
You are not worthy.
All of a sudden, the darkness became full of fire, and the bare outline of Sam flashed before burning away the light of the flames. He couldn't even let out a scream of pain as he was instantly burnt to ash. Sam!
Run! Run!
Diana's voice echoed through the air, but I was frozen in place, watching the flames rush at me and take me as well. If I ran back, my heart would be scarred forever with the memories of flames taking my love away. If I stayed, I would die with Sam. I stood in the middle, unsure of what to do. As the flames took up me, I woke up in a hot sweat. Yeah. Gripping the covers, I sat up, staring at the far wall before looking around. My heart was beating wildly as sweat ran down my cheeks and the sides of my head. Another nightmare. This time, however, Sam woke up with me.
Whoa! Hey.
Ow, my foot.
What's wrong?
I looked to Sam, seeing him not burnt or ashes, but perfectly okay. I turned toward him and wrapped my arms around him tightly, now desperate to not let him go. Sam, despite being surprised, wrapped his arms around me and held me close. 2 nightmares, both leaving me and Sam engulfed in flames. I died in the first, he died in the second. What was I going to believe anymore? Sam rubbed my back gently and I planted a kiss on my shoulder.
Hey, it's okay, alright? It was a stupid nightmare.
But who died?
You know I can handle anything that comes my way.
Could he really? He was strong and he was fast, but was he powerful enough to withstand whatever had let loose those flames to swallow him whole? Oh, that creepy voice. What did the voice mean? How was Sam not worthy? What wasn't he not worthy of? There were a million questions running through my mind, and none of them could be answered, at least not at the moment. I simply rested my head on Sam's chest and let him pull us back to the bed to sleep.
Whatever happens, I'll always be here. Alright?
I nodded and closed my eyes, praying that I would not see the nightmare again. As fate was kind once more, I slept peacefully through the remainder of the night. I think I'll end it here for now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!